Tracking our historic March heat. I'm ABC 10 Chief Meteorologist Monica Woods, and this is going to be a story that expands throughout the entire West. Our timeline for our weather impact alert includes starting on Sunday, lasting all the way through the work and school week into the beginning of the next weekend, with the impact being above average temperatures and records being shattered across much of the West. So adjust those outdoor activities and prepare for this early season heat, because this is well ahead of pace of what we normally see by 20 to 25 degrees. As you can see, those temperatures flirting with near 90-degree temperatures Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. That would be the earliest on record that we've seen those types of readings. We hit our first 80-degree temperature of the year on Sunday, but the warmth continues to build throughout the week. We're talking record highs through Las Vegas, Phoenix, San Jose, San Francisco, including Sacramento as well through the Central Valley, where you can see how our contours are really starting to shift, expanding throughout the entire West with this 15 to 25 plus degree above normal temperature pattern. So our heat risk is also going to increase Thursday into Friday. Now, Tuesday and Wednesday, we're going to see the heat certainly, but as that continues to stay in place, it really starts to take a toll on our bodies, since we haven't really adjusted to this type of heat yet. So we're looking at that pretty much widespread on Friday and Thursday, for that matter, throughout the entire valley and towards the Bay into Northern California. Our March heat. So let's just put this into perspective. The most 80-plus degree temperatures that we've had in the month of March was set in 2004 and 2015 with 7 days. The longest stretch of 80-plus degree temperatures, we're talking consecutively, was back in 2004, and that was 6 days. But with this stretch, we're not only expecting to be right above that, but we're going to be in the 90s, not just 80s. So again, we have our heat advisory in place throughout the Bay Area. That starts up on Monday. We'll take it through Friday with highs in the 80s and 90s. This is going to be especially an impact to people who are sensitive to heat. Now, as far as the records, we're going to be tracking this all the way through the work week. I only put 5 up here, but really this expands into our Saturday forecast. And we're talking not just flirting with them, shattering them. With highs in the 90s, that's going to be 10 degrees above even the record highs, not to mention what we normally see this time of year. The average first day that we see 90-degree temperature in Sacramento is May 8th, but the earliest that we've ever seen it is April 6th. So if we hit that this week, that will be about 3 to 3.5 weeks ahead of even what the record is for hitting 90 degrees. So you can about imagine this is going to have multiple impacts, including in the high country, where we'll be seeing temperatures in the 60s and 70s. Rapid snow melt. Our Lake Tahoe temperature is at 51 degrees, but our rivers are taking in all of that snow coming in down the hill. So we're running right around 50 to 60 degrees for many of our waterways. Certainly cold enough to take your breath away, and loss of control with the limbs. Sierra and foothill temperatures right around 40 to 45 degrees. So hikes need to be carefully observed anywhere near bodies of water in the foothills and the Sierra. Here's a look at that snow water equivalent, and this time of year we see that rapidly start to decrease, becoming very close to that April 1st average. We're going to likely end well behind pace, but we had a pretty good October and November for total precipitation. So in terms of where we stand for this water year, precipitation's on the good side. Statewide snowpack, not so much. We're only at 40% of what we normally have this time of year. That again feeds our reservoirs. It comes down the hill first into the rivers, and then eventually makes it into the reservoirs, which are still at about 80 to 90% capacity, but well ahead of what we normally see this time of year. But that's pretty much where we started. We started ahead of average. So water managers have been able to hold as much water possible as we start to edge towards the middle of our year, which dries out and warms up when we see our water at the highest demand. Folsom Lake has seen a pretty steady increase here. Right now, we're just shy of 760,000 acre feet. This is our average right here in the baby blue, and you can see we're ahead of where that pace is, with our peak usually about the end of May into early June. We'll see what happens this year, though, with that snow melt moving down the hill so rapidly. The rainy season is just about to close here. We had a quick buildup in October and November, and then things really quieted down December through February. We haven't seen anything in the month of March, which, by the way, is our fourth wettest month of the year. The average last day of seeing an inch is already in the rearview mirror. That was March 3rd. The average last day with a half an inch of rain is April 15th, and there's still, a couple more weeks to go here until we get to that April 15th date. But again, I mentioned this, building a water year, it takes an entire year. 50% of our average precipitation, annual precipitation, comes in December, January, and February. Our peak snowmelt is knocking on the door here because then we quickly turn our attention to peak snowmelt. But keep in mind, this is all shifted about a month earlier because of these unusually warm temperatures. Statewide precipitation still looks fairly good given that we had that big jump in October and November. That was especially helpful for Southern California, which is buffered right now with extreme fire danger because of some wet vegetation earlier in this year. Satellite and radar, we've got this big plume of moisture pushing into the Pacific Northwest. So we're tracking an atmospheric river and a heat dome across the west. Quite a contrast of those two different scenarios. But it's that very atmospheric river that's helping to amplify that ridge and bring that storm track even farther to the north with record highs throughout the entire west with a likely warmer and likely drier outlook. Through the end of March, it's very unlikely that we're going to see a big March miracle coming our way for the very last week of March. In the meantime, we're tracking temperatures. Highs in the 60s to near 70 for the Tahoe Basin with 70s and 80s through the foothills. As we head into our Monday forecast, we continue to build that warmth. We're in the upper 80s throughout much of the East Bay and Coastal Valley communities with solid 80s up and down the valley here into our Monday. We'll continue to see warming conditions. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday is really about the peak heat, but Friday is still very close to what we're going to be seeing on Thursday, but it's just we're going to be on the back edge of everything at that point. Tuesday, we've got St. Patrick's Day. It's going to be one of the warmest days that we've seen all year long, if not the warmest in this weather impact alert. Spring starts on Friday with record heat. You can see the records right here at the bottom of the screen, and we're well above that. We don't see much relief in the forecast, even close to anything around average until the following week.